Hi everybody. I'm thinking of changing the name of my channel. I don't know what to. If you've got any suggestions, please drop them in the comments below. The reason for that is because I don't feel like I'm embracing aging, really. And I started this channel to try and encourage people to enjoy every moment, and I would still encourage you to do that. But I think it's, sometimes it's really hard, and I just want to acknowledge that I know there are probably, hundreds of you out there who, going through exactly what I'm going through, where you're watching like your parents getting older and becoming more and more dependent on you, or needing more and more care, more and more attention. Um, you're perhaps looking after grandchildren. But what I wanted to talk about today is about the inevitability of death. And every living thing is going to die, and I think we kind of ignore that. We go along as though like everything's going to be we're going to wake up tomorrow and it's going to be wonderful, or we put things off. And I know I've talked a lot about not procrastinating, and I do think that's important. I think go out and make the most of every day where you wake up and you're breathing and you're able to do something. Go and do something, make a difference, even if it's just to yourself. You just feel better for going out for a walk or doing a bit of exercise or whatever. Make the most of every day that you've got. Don't just sit around at home, watching television and waiting to die. Go socialise, go talk to people. Yesterday I met up with a friend for lunch, and we had such a lovely time. It was only a couple of hours out of the day, and it was so nice. And I said, we need to do this regularly. Make make a date with your friends. Go talk to people, go out for a coffee, even if you don't feel like it. It does lift your spirits. And especially if you're having a tough time, it does help to talk about it. A problem shared is a problem halved. I think that's what they say, isn't it? But I've made a list of things here about the inevitability of dying and what I wanted to talk about. And I do think, and it isn't only you know people aging that going to lose somebody. That we all hear stories of young people who die suddenly, like young footballers who have undiagnosed heart conditions, and they're just like that. They're here one minute and not the next. Really tragic story locally here that a little boy was out with his parents having a walk. He fell into the river, and about 3 days ago, and they haven't found him yet. You just don't know what life's going to throw at you, so make the most of every moment. But what I wanted to say is about just doing a bit of preparation for, like, when the inevitable happens and you die, or you have a medical crisis or an emergency where, if you have a stroke or something, you're not able to communicate. So I've got a list of things that I think are helpful, that I've encouraged my parents to do. And the first of all is to have a hospital backpack with these kind of basics, like an overnight bag with, clothes like nightwear, underwear, toiletries, your phone charger, a little bit of cash, and also I put here, or cash or a payment card, and also a list of your regular medication. And if you've got it, I'm thinking about doing this myself, is just making a, typing up a short medical history, the important medical events, like, if you've had a heart attack, when it was, so things like that. I was asked the other day, and my mum has lung cancer, and I was asked the other day when she was diagnosed with it, and I actually don't remember. I don't know. I had to kind of think back on what I was doing at the time and where my mum was. So that's helpful. So hospital bag, pack your hospital bag and just leave it there. And then if you have to call an ambulance or you have to go into hospital suddenly, everything's there. You don't need to think about it. So it can just be an overnight bag like you would have, if you're going on an overnight trip somewhere, just basic stuff that you need, like for an overnight stay. After that, you can sort out whatever else you might need after that. But yeah, I think it's really helpful for relatives and medical staff who might need to have access to you and might not have time to actually go and like look at your records on the computer. I think it's a really good idea to have a kind of brief medical history of the important events. Secondly, I think get your affairs in order. If you get, I've talked about this before as well, about the importance of having a will, and it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. There are charities who will do it in return for a donation or a bequest from you in your will. So you can get a will done free of charge while you're still alive. Power of attorney in case you aren't able to make decisions for yourself, always useful to have that if you've got somebody you can trust. Think about having a DNR. Do not resuscitate if you feel strongly about that. My parents both have that. Make people aware that your family or people who will be there for you in an emergency. Let them know your wishes if you want to be resuscitated or if you don't want to be resuscitated. And I think the older we get, the less inclined we are to want to be resuscitated, depending on our health when there isn't a medical emergency. So DNR, power of attorney. Yeah, have you got any specific wishes about your funeral or your demise that you would like your family to know? Then let them know, I have talked before about a life book that Age UK do, which is really brilliant, where you can put everything down in there, all the important stuff like, who your electricity supplier is, your water supply, things like that, important things that people might have to deal with if you die suddenly. Oh yeah, and letting somebody know where your passwords are. I think just about everybody I know has got the passwords written down somewhere. So just let somebody know. I've told my daughter-in-law the other day, it suddenly occurred to me that she might need to have access to things online that she doesn't know how to get into because she won't have our passwords. So I've told her where our passwords are. So the other thing that I think is important is get rid of debt as far as you can. If you're able to, try and get your debt down. You might have to cut corners and sort of rein in a bit. Don't go out for coffee so often, have a coffee at home or whatever. But I think it's important, and I'm saying this because someone quite close to me lost a dad last year. And he's left debt behind, and she's being harassed by debt collectors to find that money. And, she's still busy grieving, sorting out his affairs, and she's having debt to deal with as well. So as far as possible, try and get rid of your debt. The other thing is sort out your home environment as well. So your family or whoever doesn't have like a load of stuff that you've been hanging on to for years. I'm just looking around me now because in this room, the room I work in, it's also a room that our granddaughters stay in when they sleep over. And I've got toys from when the oldest one, who's 11 now, when she was like a baby, and the younger ones had those, but we still got them. We don't need them, we need to get rid of all of those because, the older they get, the less time they're going to be spending with us, the more independent they are. We need to get rid of all that crap, basically, because otherwise someone else has got to do it. I've got a 12-piece dinner service with everything, like really lovely white china that I bought years ago when we used to entertain and have dinner parties. We don't do that anymore. I mean, nobody even comes to visit us, or very rarely. We need like 4 mugs, 4 glasses, 4 cups, 4 saucers, 4 plates. We don't need any more than that. I don't need a cupboard full of china that I'm never going to use. So we've been in this place 6 years now, and I've got a cupboard that I have used nothing in it. It's just sitting there taking up space. I need to do that. So yeah, get rid of your clutter. What else? Oh, that's it. They're the things that I thought of about, it's just useful to do for the people who are left behind. And then when you've done that, you know what? You're free to go and like just make the most of every day. If you get the opportunity to go out and see somebody, I mean, for me, that's absolute key, is like, enjoying aging is having contact with people, seeing friends, being able to go out and have a cup of coffee or a picnic. You don't have to spend a load of money. You don't have to go out and buy cake and things like that. You can take stuff from home. Pack up a couple of sandwiches and a flask, or a bottle of wine and 2 glasses, and go to the park if it's a nice day. You don't have to spend a lot of money to have fun. And I think the biggest thing for all of us is we all need that human connection. And if you haven't got that, or you've been kind of in hermit mode over the winter, and it is easy to do for us in the Northern Hemisphere. I mean, the weather outside today is horrible again. It's cold and it's raining, it's grey. You don't feel like going out, but if you don't go out, pick up the phone, talk to somebody. And I talk about that a lot, don't I? But for me, it's really important that you keep the channels of communication open with people you care about and people who care about you. Don't neglect your friends. Don't neglect the people who care about you. It's really important. And especially if you're on your own, I think. I'm fortunate because I've got, I have my husband, my family close by. And I realise I'm really lucky. But not everybody's like that. So especially if you're on your own, please, please, please keep in contact with other people. And if you're really lonely, I would say go out and volunteer. I was at hospital the other night with my stepdad, and there are people there, elderly people on their own. They've got nobody to look after them. They're sitting there waiting to be seen by a doctor. There's no one to get them a cup of coffee or anything. And I think thinking more and more about volunteering in the health service, just to try and do a little bit that I can to make people's when people are in distress, to make things more comfortable for them. I think I'd quite like to do that. I'm quite a caring person anyway. So, and I'm very mindful of the fact that I've got people who love me and people who care about me, but not everybody has that. So yeah, if you're able, go out and volunteer. If you're not, if you're stuck at home and you're lonely, reach out to people. I have put a thing in the community section. I think it was Christmas time. Anyway, go have a look. Have a scroll through the community section. If you look where it says more, where my channel is, where the photo is, it says more. And I think this, if you click on my channel, go across to the far right, and you'll see the community tab there. And I've got some stuff that's interested me in that had an impact on me in there. And I have put some numbers in there for to contact if you're feeling suicidal, or you're feeling sad or lonely, or there are people you can talk to. Anyway, on a lighter note, if you can think, you've got any suggestions for what I can call my channel, because I do want to, the purpose of doing this was always to try and inspire people to look on the bright side of aging. But I know that it's like, it isn't easy. It isn't easy because death is inevitable, and you responsibilities. I find it harder, to like, as I get older, I'm feeling my age now, and I see like my mum's 90, getting more and more frail, needing more and more attention. But physically, I can't do the things I used to be able to do, like pushing around in a wheelchair is hard for me. She doesn't need a wheelchair all the time, but I can see as she gets more and more frail, she's going to need it more and more often. So yeah, long video today. If you're still with me, thanks for being here. Yeah, and as always, I love your comments. I'm very grateful to you. And if you haven't already, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And yeah, I'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye.